Hello YouTube and welcome back to World of Warships with Wadres yet again, and today's video is going to be focused on reviewing the Tier 7 Tech Line French destroyer, which is currently in early access, the Vauquelin. And from this point on, I am basically just going to be referring to this ship as the VAC, mainly because I don't feel like trying to pronounce the name several times over and just end up bastardizing it. So again, from this point on, she's just the VAC. And I will say that she is a nice, powerful little ship. And she's got some good strengths going for her. Not the least of which is her 18,100 hit point health pool, which is a good, nice health pool for a Tier 7 destroyer. Her main battery, she has 5 139mm guns with a 4.5 second reload, and with all of the proper captain skills and modules, she does reach out to 15.7 kilometers. And in just a couple of seconds here, you're actually going to see me just switch around to take a commander off, so you can see that her base main battery range is 13 kilometers with the upgraded range module. So she's got decent range if nothing else. Her torpedoes are nice and strong. She has 3 triple torpedo launchers, 2 capable of getting out per side. And I do also want to make the note that this is on her B hull. I will discuss her A hull in regards to torpedoes momentarily. And these torpedoes do have a nice 90-second reload, 6-second rotation time for 180 degrees, and they also have an 8-kilometer range and do 14,900 damage. These are basically the same torpedoes that you get on the Gepard at Tier 6 in just a slightly different configuration. Her AA is really not anything worth mentioning overall. I mean, it's pretty much standard destroyer AA. I mean, it's definitely nothing that you don't want to just leave off for an entire match. It will still at least do something to aircraft that are passing overhead, but it's just not something that you're going to be relying on too heavily as far as knocking planes out of the sky. As far as her maneuverability, she does have a good speed of 36 knots, and with speed boost that can push up as high as 45 knots, so good fast ship. With the rudder shift mod 2, she does have her rudder kickover in 3.2 seconds, and she has a 670 meter turning circle. From the surface, she is detected at 7.3 kilometers. From the air, she is seen at 3.5 kilometers. And this is without any concealment bonuses, I might add, so those are pretty much her raw values. And in smoke, she is seen from 3 kilometers after firing her main battery. And just getting back to what I was saying a little bit earlier about her A hull, she does have a different torpedo tube configuration with 2 double launchers and the center-mounted triple launcher. So her B hull, in regards to her torpedo performance, is a substantial increase in overall attack power. Beyond that, there's really nothing else that seems to change too much, aside from the baseline rudder shift, but that's about it. Now, as I did point out earlier, with the proper commander skills, the ship does have a reasonable main battery reload of 4.5 seconds, and these guns are nice and strong. They do benefit fully from AFT and BFT, so they do get out to a good range, and the reload is benefited as well as can be expected from all of the appropriate commander skills in that regard. As far as her upgrades, I have opted for Aiming Systems Mod 1 and Steering Gears Mod 2 because her rudder really isn't the fastest, so you do kind of want to kick that over as much as you can, as quickly as you can, just to bring out her maneuverability just a little bit more. And beyond that, I'm pretty much just running what I would consider my standard destroyer upgrades, which are Main Armaments Mod 1 and Propulsion Mod 1, just to reduce chance of main battery, torpedoes, and engine being knocked out. Because with a destroyer, well, your engine is your livelihood. After putting on a reasonably skilled commander with Concealment Expert, her surface detection does go down quite a bit to 6.6 kilometers, and her air detect goes down to 3.2. So aircraft and ships are going to have a reasonably difficult time detecting you if you really decide you want to play shy, if you will. As far as captain build, this is pretty much still a standard destroyer build as far as I'm concerned. Adrenaline Rush, Last Stand, Preventative Maintenance, AFT, BFT, and Concealment Expert. Again, just like with the Gepard, I'm probably going to invest in either, well, actually these guns do turn nice and quickly, so I'm probably not going to look at Expert Marksman. I would definitely recommend more along the lines of probably, actually, Jack of all trades, just to reduce the consumable reset. Either that or torpedo armament expertise, just to get those torpedo tubes to reload just a little bit faster. Beyond that, the captain build really isn't too different from what I would, again, just consider to be basically a standard destroyer build. As I mentioned earlier, she does benefit fully from both AFT and BFT, so those are definitely skills you want to utilize. I mean, granted, some of her longer range sniping capability really isn't there, but at very least you definitely want BFT just to bring out her reload as much as you can, because these are some nice hard-hitting guns. AFT is a little bit more optional. For that, you could probably opt more for IFHE if you really wanted that instead. All in all, she is a nice, strong little ship under the right circumstances, and she does have a lot of options. On that note, we will take her on into battle, and you can see how she performs with the way I have her set up, and you can make some decisions in that regard for yourselves. For the first match I am showcasing, I am very strong top tier, but I am going to warn you, and this is one of those things that I am just again going to mention, just because my norm is I tend to show the first 3 battles for any ship that I am reviewing, just because I feel that 3 battles provides a reasonable projection of what the ship is capable of, as well as some of the variability that it can occur therein. With that in mind, sometimes some of the battles really are not the greatest, and this match is no exception to that rule. I'm actually going to do very, very little for this first match, so just about the only thing that you're really gonna get to see is just the speed of the ship, and really very little else, because kind of everything in this match, this is the one downside of ending up in a basically all cruisers and destroyers match, is everything just kind of charges straight through B on the neighbors map. So with exception of 1 or 2 ships that I run into at A, which are really not that much damage to farm, it ends up being a lousy match. So there you have it. I've warned you. But I do promise that the 2 matches afterwards are going to be substantially better. I did move up into A cap just because I was thinking I could try to capture that, maybe catch a destroyer or something that was moving up towards A as well. But well, let's just say that ultimately I was actually rather disappointed, because I really only succeeded at capturing A. Nothing else came over to A at all. Yeah, yeah. I was half expecting a destroyer to peek around this corner here at close range, and maybe I could drop torps or melt it down with my main battery reload very quickly, but there was just nothing. nothing at all that came around the corner. And I was able to capture a completely uncontested, and then said, well, I kind of need to do something other than capture for this match, so maybe I'll move over a little bit to try and maybe hit a couple of these cruisers that are charging through B point. And, well, that's not going to work badly for me, but it's also not exactly going to be the most rewarding either, because all I'm really shooting at are cruisers. There are no battleships, there are no aircraft carriers to be messing with, so there are no major health pools or armor to be trying to chip down. No, it's just, it's cruisers. And their maneuverability, among other things, really just doesn't owe a whole lot for me to actually deal any substantial amount of damage in a reasonable amount of time. And, well, I've got basically my entire team just kind of picking them off before anything's really capable of being done otherwise. And, well, yeah, the match is already over. Everything just kind of charged straight through B and just got obliterated. So, yeah, that was the first match. 68,756 credits overall for 1 capture, 26 main battery hits, 1 kill that I was lucky to even get the landing shot on that, 2,100 EXP, 610 free EXP, 4,300 damage done. Yeah, did I happen to mention that everything was lousy? I mean, I even only came in at the mid-range on the team as far as base EXP with 252 base EXP. 990 damage done to the Indianapolis, 3,400 damage done to the Nuremberg. Absolutely nothing in torpedo range. I did get a little bit of spotting damage, and I got a little bit of potential damage because I guess the Nuremberg or the Indy decided to take a pot shot at me before it got shot or killed, but yeah, just lousy match. And if I hadn't had any of my modifiers, this match I would have definitely taken a hit credit-wise. Because if you look at my modifiers versus my net income of 26,000 credits, that would have been a good 10,000 or so credits in the hole for a Tier 7 match. So yeah, that was a bad match. But anyway, moving on. Next match, I am thoroughly up-tiered. I am the only Tier 7 in a Tier 8 match. At least this match offers a few Tier 8 battleships and cruisers that I can shoot at instead of just a couple of destroyers that really just kind of pop in and out of range at long range that I can't do much of anything about. I did try to consider backing into the friendly Kutuzov's smoke cloud just to kind of take advantage of that and have a little bit of concealment for a little bit of time, but then I realized, you know what, if I do that, there's nobody who's going to be spotting for anybody over here. So at that point I just decided, you know what, I'm going to hit the gas, pop the speed boost, go full speed forward, do what I can about this Ognivoy, and then just kind of see what I can do damage-wise otherwise. I did unfortunately pull a little bit of a Notzer there, which had me backing up in front of a Kutuzov. Not exactly the most ideal of circumstances there. But once I was clear of the island, I'm back to moving forward and just trying to chunk the Kutuzov for what I can, hoping that it doesn't kill me before my friendlies kill it. And you'll also notice that I am kind of holding my torpedoes in reserve because I did see that the Kutuzov was going down quickly, and I still have a battleship behind the Kutuzov to deal with. And, well, as I mentioned during the base stats intro, these torpedoes don't have the fastest reload in the world, so if you can hang on to them for a bigger or higher durability target, definitely do so, because you're probably gonna want them. Beyond that, just shooting at the Roma as I'm closing distance, because why not? Drop off torpedoes, and then just hope that the torpedoes kill it again before it kills me. And fortunately they do, and I am exceptionally lucky getting out of that with 1920 health remaining. And I did at least thank my speed here somewhat, because I was able to get out of dodge before the friendly Kutuzov's torpedoes caught me. Did just kind of hang around here just long enough to finish the capture of, what is it, D point? Yeah, D point. And then decided, let's see if I can get over to the next one, but I didn't before the match was over. I mean, you can see I was right on the boundary as the match ended. I did kind of skip ahead, forgive me. Overall, though, much better match than the previous one. 76,820 damage, 69 main battery hits, 6 torp hits, 2 kills, even a couple of floods and 4 spottings, 191,500 credits gross earnings for the match, 4,300 EXP, 1,237 free EXP. So, again, definitely good, solid earnings. Much, much better than the previous match, if I do say so. And it definitely made it far more worth my efforts. So, again, just a much, much better match. 511 base EXP earned, so more than enough to land me at the top of the team this round. And just good, respectable numbers. Ognavoy, I did 6,800 damage to. Did 4,360 to the Kutuzov. And of course, I kind of took the lion's share of damage against the Roma. Overall damage done was 21,000 with the main battery, and 49,005 with torpedoes, and another 5,500 from fire and floods. As far as potential damage, I tanked 240,000 hit points worth of damage, and I even got 24,000 damage from spotting. As far as my ship itself, I absorbed 16,182 hit points worth of damage. Now, granted that, again, left me with only 1,920, but hey, as a couple of other community contributors would say, that's still 1,900 more hit points than I actually need to be able to do anything in a match. So, in that regard, I did reasonably well, I think. Again, just much, much better match. As far as income, that was 148,000 credits earned net. After modifiers, if the modifiers were taken away, that's probably still a good 60,000 credit income, so I can be more than happy with that. And, of course, the commander earned 11,878 EXP. And if you consider the modifiers taken away from there, that's probably about 1,000 points without modifiers that the ship would have earned for the match, up to and including the commander. So figure about 1,000 baseline for the commander's earnings and ship's earnings, EXP-wise, without any of the modifiers. Next match is another Tier 8 match, but it's kind of predominantly Tier 7. The only real Tier 8 is the aircraft carrier, and it's a Saipan of all things. So, yeah, that... it's understandable that I was kind of keeping an eye on what the Saipan was doing at the start of this match, because that was the last ship that I wanted having eyes on me. Fortunately, it does go over towards the center of the match, and unfortunately it harasses our Shinonome, but at least I don't have to worry about it so much myself. Now, at this point in any other destroyer, I would probably be kind of going broadside and popping smoke, but in the Vauquelin, I can't really get away with that, especially looking at the cruisers that I have in front of me. I mean, sure, I could have done some damage shooting down the Shinonome from smoke, provided somebody was actually spotting it for me, but I don't really have that flexibility in the Vauquelin. I don't have the smoke consumable, so I just kind of have to keep moving and hope that the cruisers, particularly the Helena and the Nuremberg, don't give me too much attention as I'm trying to get into a better concealed location. I do kind of drop one set of torpedoes, hoping that maybe I catch one of the cruisers off guard. I'm not sure that it actually does, looking back on it. But, I mean, when I'm dropping torpedoes at long range, I kind of consider that like a wasted torpedo drop in most situations anyway, just because there's no way of guaranteeing that those torpedoes are really going to hit anything worthwhile. So, yeah, on hindsight, I probably should not have dropped those torpedoes, either that or I should have at least just dropped them in a different direction, but it's iffy. Now that I have come around the island, though, and the cruisers were giving attention to my friendlies a little bit to my side, I am at least able to get something into them before they give me their undivided attention. But, you know what? I'm nice, I'm quick, I'm nimble, and I'm actually able to close the distance on this Helena very, very quickly, and get some torpedoes off on it before it's even really in a position to do anything major against me. I mean, through this whole match so far, I've only lost maybe 4,500 hit points. Sorry, 3,500 hit points. Beyond that, the only other ship that I've really got that I can do anything with is this enemy Nagato. And, well, it's got other problems to worry about. I am just kind of gonna do what I can to chip away at it with my main guns while I close the distance, and do what I usually do as a aggressive player. And this is probably one of the things that I think some players are going to dislike about the French destroyers, is because of their load, because of their concealment, because of the simple fact that they don't have smoke. They are kind of forced to be far more aggressive ships than any of the other destroyers. So I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why I'm actually enjoying them a little bit. They can be more aggressive. They're not necessarily as versatile as others, but again, they have a lot of just... They have the staying power as long as they are played aggressively enough. And that's, I guess, the whole takeaway message when you're playing these French destroyers, is you kind of have to play them aggressively. Because if you play them passive, you're basically just going to end up just kind of kiting away from battles and not really doing much. Anyway, for this match, 87,000 damage done, 180,000 credits earned gross, 4,145 EXP, 1,196 free EXP for 3 kills, 4 torpedo hits, 119 main battery hits, 7 fires, and 3 spottings, among others. For team score, I was second on the team for base EXP with 493. Our Nachi certainly did very well for himself, I'm sure. So, I guess a nice little shout out to Captain Clubber for outdoing me. 17,719 damage to the enemy Helena, 12,000 damage done to the Nuremberg, Shinonome, 8,200 damage, and Nagato, 50,000 damage. Overall damage done by the main battery, 35,000, 37,200 from torpedoes, and another 14,800 from fires and floods. Even got 330 damage in on enemy aircraft. As far as spotting damage, I only got 4,158 points of spotting damage, and I did, however, manage to tank 206,000 potential damage, all while only receiving 8,800 damage in return. So I definitely made this ship work out for me. Coming over to the final screen with credits and experience points. In just a second here, I'm sure I was talking about something else there and I completely forgot when I was doing the recording. There we go. 135,801 credits earned net for the match. With all of the takeaways, that's still about 50,000 credits earned. If the modifiers had not been in place. And Commander earns 11,500 EXP as well. And again, 814 EXP overall for the match, plus modifiers. So I figure with just some of the basics, that probably would have been, again, about 1,000 EXP earned for the ship for the match, and also for the commander. Overall, the Vauquelin is a nice little Tier 7 destroyer, definitely a very capable ship, and I definitely think players will enjoy her as long as they can put up with her more aggressive, or her entire line's more aggressive playstyle. Anyway, on that note, I shall go ahead and let you all go, and I hope to catch you all again next time. I wish you all happy hunting, and take care out there, folks. And also, while you're at it, please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed what you've seen here.